And Chicago, we have to help her win. Because we know that Donald Trump would sell this country for $1 if it meant lining his own pocket and greasing the palms of his Wall Street friend.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez told her fellow Democrats that, she might stop supporting primary challengers to Democratic incumbents in her attempt to chair the House Oversight Committee. Now, the reporting comes from Politico, which cited 3 people familiar with her remarks. So how well did that strategy work out?
It wasn't just tea that Anna Kasparian spilled. She slammed the pot down on the table after throwing it wide open, then turned toward Ocasio-Cortez with a look that said, "Care to explain these secrets?" This wasn't some hushed, behind-the-scenes encounter. Not even close. It unfolded live on television. Raw, unfiltered, and merciless. No edits. No softening the blow. And trust me, you'll gasp, you'll laugh, and you'll rethink everything you thought you knew.
Deal with the devil. President Trump, you're either being lied to or you are lying to the American people.
So it seems like, for the most part, the Democratic Party is listening to Biden. AOC aside, earlier in the show, we were talking about Hakeem Jeffries, how he was basically keeping his powder dry until he kind of felt the temperature in the room to figure out where most elected Democrats stand on the issue of Biden potentially stepping down from this race. Well, he has now come out with a statement, and he's sharing what he thinks about Biden remaining in the race. Let's watch.
Support Joe Biden.
And please, subscribe to the channel. You won't believe how much it helps amplify the moment when someone finally stops holding back a truth that's been ready to explode for far too long. Anna Kasparian chose to let it all out on live television. In an instant, the room fell silent. Conversation evaporated. All that remained was the sharp intake of breath as AOC's carefully polished image began to deflate.
Would step up for us now in the way the person said that Representatives Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Jasmine Crockett and Senator Bernie Sanders have been screaming, enraged, passionate in response to the Trump administration. And here's how Slotkin responded. Everyone you mentioned has a lot of words, but what have they actually done to change the situation with Donald Trump and the cuts and the attacks on our judiciary and the attacks on our Constitution?
This wasn't the usual back and forth that defines political television. It was something else entirely, a moment you could feel unfolding in slow motion, frame by frame, as the internet erupted all at once. Did that really just happen? Yes. That was the moment when the weight of unscripted truth brought a carefully constructed brand crashing down. And the audience didn't just witness it, they savored every second.
Men are obsessed with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's young, dynamic, strong, and incredibly effective in pushing for the economic and environmental values that resonate with most Americans. Ironically, each time a conservative attacks her, she just becomes more popular. And every once in a while, progressives are gifted with pure comedy gold, like the AOC attack video,
AOC walked in expecting applause. Cheers, glowing praise, maybe a few safe, courteous questions, perhaps even a handful of TikTok-ready one-liners. Instead, Anna charged across the metaphorical table like a political action hero, brandishing receipts sharp enough to cut steel. In a flash, the discussion veered away from development, policy points, and the usual recycled buzzwords. What took center stage was the kind of secret politicians bury so deep it would take a map, a backhoe, and an entire team of archaeologists to dig it back up.
That people care about justice. I do actually think that people want fairness.
Yes.
However, I don't think it's necessarily the cause or causes that AOC promotes. It's the way in which she and
Anna didn't tiptoe. She detonated. What she revealed landed squarely in front of a live audience, smashing AOC's carefully curated brand like a piano dropped from a high-rise window. No spin doctor could soften the impact. No charm offensive could rescue the moment. The silence that followed was thicker than the usual backlash AOC faces, heavy, stunned, and impossible to talk away.
71% of voters were white. Can you guys just maybe for a little while hold off on talking about how much you hate white people? Just for a little while.
Well, I mean,
I know that that's in vogue for Democrats right now to lump every white person in America together.
So-
Doesn't matter if you're Armenian, didn't speak English as your first language, and your parents were refugees from a Soviet-controlled country. You have light skin, so you're exactly the same as like an American racist that has ancestors.
This time, you could almost hear producers choking on their clipboards backstage. The audience didn't know whether to gasp, applaud, or instinctively refresh Twitter to confirm that, yes, everyone else had just seen that too. And of course, the internet did what it always does. Within minutes, clips were ricocheting through Facebook comment sections faster than conspiracy theories. Hashtags sprouted like weeds, so obvious they practically wrote themselves. One camp clutched pearls like Victorian aristocrats glimpsing their first exposed ankle, while the other danced on virtual tables as if free bottles had just arrived. Behind a frozen smile, the crack showed eyes darting, lips tightening, frantic calculations firing off in real time. It was the political equivalent of realizing you left the oven on while already buckled into a plane bound for Paris. Anna's timing couldn't have been more precise. In truth, AOC has long managed her brand with surgical care. Every Instagram live sermon, every perfectly staged photo op reinforcing the image of the unshakable progressive warrior.
Someone is about to say something extremely compelling when he presents his findings like Family Guy's Trisha House Speaker. The best part about her is that she unapologetically demands progressive economic reforms. She's a force to be reckoned with, which is likely the reason why the right wing is terrified of her. When Ocasio-Cortez isn't being ridiculed over her choice of clothing, free market right-wingers go on the attack over her economic.
Anna didn't merely chip away at the facade, she flattened it. And what she revealed wasn't absurd or easily dismissed. It was something far worse. Hypocrisy so blatant it echoed the moment it was spoken aloud. AOC's heroic image unraveled in real time, exposing contradictions too sharp to ignore. And the most uncomfortable part? There was no comeback. No cascade of rallying slogans. No familiar word salad to blur the edges. Just stillness. The moment was already captured, clipped, and racing across the internet long before her team could craft a single line of damage control.
Week, Representative Ocasio-Cortez wanted to get some answers on how it could be that some of the voters in her district could cast their ballots for her but vote for Donald Trump for president. Now, AOC's district swung to Trump by one of the highest margins among New York voters. And, you know, it's pretty big. It's a big deal. So in 2020, Trump won 22% of the vote in AOC's district compared to Joe Biden's 77%. Harris did not fare nearly as well. Support for Trump jumped to 33%, and support for Harris dropped to 65%. Now, AOC won overwhelmingly again last week. She's still very popular in her district. She earned about...
In the end, the slow burn did more damage than the initial blast. From that moment on, every AOC appearance carried the ghost of Anna's truth bomb, hanging in the air like a hairline crack in glass. Politics runs on pressure, and pressure always spreads the fracture. When Anna struck the weakest point, the entire facade began to collapse. The internet took it from there, zooming in, replaying, and dissecting every second frame by frame. Twitter filled up with hashtags that sounded like failed cryptocurrencies or canceled soap operas. But the takeaway was unmistakable. Opposition researchers and late-night comedians had never been able to pierce AOC's armor, and people relished watching Anna Kasparian do exactly that.
She won her seat in the House of Representatives by, challenging an incumbent Democrat. Okay, that was Joe Crowley, and this happened back in 2018. Again, this means that she won her seat in Congress by challenging a Democratic incumbent. That was the whole point of the Justice Democrats. So the idea that she was willing to concede to the Democratic establishment and say that she will no longer support primary challengers to Democratic incumbents is particularly rich and also very disgusting. But, you know, maybe complying is how leaders lead, or maybe leaders lead without complying or bending to the will of the establishment that she was elected to.
And by then, it didn't matter. Once the moment had been converted into content, the memes had already won. No press release could rewind it back into a manageable controversy. AOC staff scrambled, posting, deleting, rewriting, like firefighters armed with squirt guns against a raging blaze. Every attempt at control only fueled the fire. Each clarification was clipped and ridiculed. Every carefully chosen word was instantly memed. What happened on air was only half the story. The other half was how the internet turned it into a full-blown circus, the way it always does in the digital age. That's the true terror of live television. And because of Anna, AOC was no longer the hero of the narrative. She was the punchline.
Wisconsin, that bubble, that she might not realize that at all. It might have been giant news to her. And honestly, I don't know which way it goes. But look, if she got to the right place and now realized it, either way, I'd like to give her more credit if it was like a piece of strategy, right? But either way, if she got here now, good. Now the next step is the most important step. Are you then going to follow up by challenging the establishment?
Okay, that's a great question. And that's where I want to weigh in, because AOC should see this and the reactions and responses that she received from her constituents as putting her on notice. Because especially in the last 2 years, AOC has been absorbed by the Democratic establishment. She has been willing to play ball with the Democratic establishment.
That's the real sting. A scandal fades. It's a headline, a trend, a passing storm. What Anna delivered was something far more lasting. Not a single gotcha, but a seed of doubt. And doubt has a way of lingering. Once planted, it forces viewers to reassess every speech, every video, every carefully framed image from a different angle. Suddenly, sincerity feels engineered. Purity feels tainted. Passion starts to look rehearsed. Anna didn't just fact-check AOC, she reframed her. From hero to politician. From incorruptible to compromised. From symbol to brand. And once that illusion cracks, it never fully reforms. No matter how many speeches follow, people will always wonder whether they're watching genuine conviction or just another well-polished performance.
Oftentimes, writer with an affinity for secretly snapping pictures of women's backsides to ridicule them on social media decided to criticize Congresswoman-elect Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez over a standard black blazer. Eddie Scarry, yes, that's his name, tweeted and then later deleted, quote, "Hill staffer sent me this pic of Ocasio-Cortez they took just now. I'll tell you something, that jacket and coat don't look like a girl who struggles." Because seem to have an obsession with AOC. You know what? I can't blame them.
That's the gut punch. Hypocrisy doesn't vanish. It lingers, it festers. Overnight, AOC was cruelly transformed from seemingly untouchable to completely pick-apartable. One truth bomb from Anna flipped the narrative, turning admiration into suspicion, praise into disdain. The internet that had once crowned her queen now treated her like material, and that's the worst kind of fall. It wasn't political opponents dismantling her, it was someone credible from within. That's why it stuck. Once the mask comes off, the audience no longer sees a hero. No amount of PR can change the fact that beneath it all, they see just another politician.
Where I want to weigh in, because AOC should see this and the reactions and responses that she received from her constituents as putting her on notice. Because especially in the last 2 years, AOC has been absorbed by the Democratic establishment. She has been willing to play ball with the Democratic establishment. I mean, and look, to be quite frank, AOC's previous reputation stays with her. And that previous reputation was that of a disruptor, an individual who's an outsider who has managed to infiltrate the establishment. But more and more, she has presented herself as part of the establishment.
Politics thrives on moments like this because voters are tired of being sold fairy tales. They crave sincerity, even when it's messy, imperfect, and uncomfortable. When Anna exposed the gap between image and reality, the audience got exactly what they'd been seeking. It wasn't pretty, but it was real. And truth, as always, finds a way to win. As the dust settled from the online explosion, one thing was undeniable. AOC's reputation had been permanently reshaped. It wasn't a hostile journalist or a rival politician dragging a progressive darling through the mud. It was someone from her own ideological circle. That's what made it sting the most. Friendly fire is always 10 times more painful. Anna had accomplished the unthinkable. Her live TV interview became a political soap opera, a viral meme factory, and a masterclass in exposing hypocrisy, all on her own. And the most remarkable part? She revealed more than just AOC's deepest secret. She exposed the fragility of the brand itself. Because if a single truth bomb can inflict this much damage, what does that say about the foundation it was built upon?